So in 2025, a new kind of digital gold rush just appeared. But it had nothing to do with crypto or stocks, nope. It all kicked off with this simple idea: AI-powered templates. In this explainer, we're going to deconstruct the data behind this whole thing, look at some of the wild earnings that were reported, and break down the exact blueprint people were supposedly using to fuel it.
Let's just start with the number that got everyone's attention, the one that was all over social media feeds. $12,000 a month. And we're not talking about some high-flying CEO salary here. This was the high end of what regular, individual creators were reporting they earned from a totally new kind of side hustle.
Right, so the immediate question on everyone's mind was, what on earth are people selling to make that kind of money? You know, it wasn't a physical product, there's no shipping or inventory, and it wasn't a classic service where you're just trading your time for money. This was something completely new, an asset born from the explosion of AI tools that everybody could suddenly access.
The product right at the heart of all this? AI template packs. The easiest way to think about them is like digital systems in a box. We're talking about things like super organized Notion dashboards, libraries of expert ChatGPT prompts for, say, a marketer or a lawyer, or even automated workflows that just make your apps work together. The whole point, the core value, was dead simple: save people a ton of time and a massive headache.
Okay, so we know what the product is. Now let's get to the good stuff. Let's dig into the numbers and see just how big this 2025 boom really was, based on the figures and case studies from the source material.
You know, the speed of the growth that was reported, it's honestly staggering. According to the data from marketplaces and what creators themselves were saying, the average person playing in this space went from making maybe less than $500 a month to suddenly pulling in somewhere between $3,000 and $12,000 a month. And get this, it often happened in just 90 days. That's a huge life-changing jump.
And to make this really hit home, let's look at the biggest case study from the source. One person, let's call them Creator A, reportedly raked in an incredible $420,000 in total revenue just during 2025. And their secret weapon? A single, really well-made, AI-powered template for content calendars. It just goes to show you the massive potential at the very top of this market.
And look, this wasn't just a one-hit wonder. The source points to lots of other creators who are finding some pretty incredible success. You had Creator B, who was reportedly clearing over $9,000 a month selling AI finance trackers. Then there's Creator C, who made almost $12,000 in their first 30 days with a set of TikTok launch templates. The big takeaway here is the variety, you know? It wasn't just happening in one little niche.
So, you might be wondering, where is all this info coming from? Well, these aren't just numbers made up out of thin air. The data was pulled together from a mix of public sources and what creators reported themselves. We're talking public sales leaderboards on sites like Gumroad, creator earning threads on X and Reddit, and even TikTok and YouTube videos where people would literally share their screens and show you the revenue proof.
Okay, so we've seen the what, those impressive numbers, but now let's talk about the why. What was going on under the hood that allowed this whole digital product world to just explode so fast and so dramatically in 2025?
The source material really points to this perfect storm of four things coming together. First, no physical inventory. It's a purely digital game. That leads right into the second point. We're talking near 99% profit margins. I mean, once you make it, almost every sale is pure profit. Third, platforms like Gumroad handled all the boring stuff. The sales, the delivery was all automated. And finally, the real game changer, the new AI tools made creating these things up to 10 times faster than it ever was before.
So with all that powerful stuff in place, the obvious question is, how could somebody actually do this? Well, the source lays out what it calls the 2026 Setup Guide, a 4-step blueprint that beginners were apparently following to get their own slice of the action.
The process itself is laid out as being surprisingly simple. First, you just pick one lane you actually understand, like personal finance, or fitness, or creating content. Then, you build a small handful of really valuable templates, maybe 3 to 5 of them, and you can often do it using free AI tools. Next, you launch them on a platform like Gumroad, and you price them so it's a no-brainer, usually somewhere between $7 and $47. And finally, the last step, you drive all your customers there using short, snappy, 15-second videos on TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
So when you really boil it all down, the entire strategy stands on 2 really powerful legs. First, you've got the ability to create high-value digital stuff for almost no cost, all thanks to AI. And second, you have a marketing engine that's built to get tons of attention using viral short-form video. It's a model that's just perfectly built for the way the internet works today.
All right, We've seen the numbers, we've seen how it works, we've even seen the playbook. But let's zoom out for a second. What does all this really mean for the future? Was this a genuine, long-lasting gold rush, or just another one of those passing fads that burns out as quickly as it started?
At the end of the day, what the 2025 AI template trend really shows us is a new chapter in the digital economy. It was a boom built on a crazy low barrier to entry, unbelievably high profit margins, and the whole thing was just supercharged by the fact that powerful AI tools suddenly became available to everyone.
And this whole thing leaves us with one last big question to think about. Is these AI tools, the very things used to create these products, become available to absolutely everyone, maybe even built right into our phones and computers? What's the real long-term value of a pre-built template? Is it the template itself, or is it the unique expertise, the curation, and the taste of the human who put it all together? That's really the question this digital gold rush leaves us with.